Today we're taking a cheeky gander at Lost Judgment, the sequel to Sega's 2018 cult hit, Judgment. It's obvious that when Sega decided to make a sequel to Judgment, the first thing they decided was that they wanted to piss off people with OCD. Rather than just calling the game Judgment 2 or Judgment : something, they put the Lost part of the title before Judgment, meaning you now have to have sleepless nights and family meetings until you can all decide if Lost Judgment goes after the first Judgment game on your shelf, or after the K section on your shelf, meaning you have to have Kingdom Hearts either sitting between the first and second game, or after a game that begins with L. While this is annoying, I won't let it affect my review much. The Judgment series is a spin-off of the Yakuza series, so it's safe to say that if you're a fan of one series, chances are that you'll like the other. While the game picks up after the first Judgment game, it actually ends up referencing what happened at the end of Yakuza Like a Dragon more than the game it's a sequel of. If you're still not finished Yakuza Like a Dragon, I certainly suggest you do so before jumping in, as within the first hour, you'll get the game spoiled.
Well, now we got a problem.
The game starts exactly the same as the first one. Yagami and Kaito are working a small job where the ladies ask them to follow their boyfriend. This means the first thing you do is have to trail a guy, which is baffling as it's possibly the worst mechanic in the entire game. It's like telling a woman on a first date that you like Coldplay when that's really something you should keep to yourself. This makes the first hour drag slightly, but once you get through it, the game really opens up and you barely have to use this annoying mechanic ever again for the main story. While that's great, it does make it even weirder that they decided to open the game with it. It's not long after this that Yagami and the gang get invited to a school to investigate some rumours that the headmaster has heard about students being bullied. The school is easily the best addition to the game. There's school clubs you can investigate that has enough content for its own game. They're essentially extended side quests with a ton of personality and humour. The best part of the school, though, is going to the bar down the street from the school, getting drunk, and then fighting a bunch of teenagers with no consequences. It might seem a little unrealistic, but so is a school actually doing something about a kid being bullied.
Guess he's more than just your average creeper.
It doesn't take long for this bullying to be linked to a much bigger conspiracy, and in typical Yakuza fashion, you end up taking on more than just teenagers. While I enjoyed the story more than the first game, you'll find that around the halfway point, it really starts to meander. By halfway, you know almost everyone involved and the roles they play. You end up just waiting for everything and everyone to come together so that you can have the big finale. It felt very similar to the last few seasons of Game of Thrones, where you just wait for all the characters to meet up.
Yeah, if everything goes as expected.
Hey, you did everything you could, right? So we'll see what tomorrow has in store.
The battle system is probably the best Brawler gameplay has ever been. In the first game, I didn't switch up the fighting styles that much, but in Lost Judgment, I found myself switching between the styles constantly depending on the enemy I was facing. The new snake style that introduced in this game is a little overpowered though. It's a style that has you deflect attacks when people use weapons, and once you master the timing, anyone with a knife struggles to even touch you. The last boss didn't even take away half my health bar, as I just kept parrying his attacks, and it made the whole battle a bit anticlimactic. New additions, like the skateboard, help you get around the large map a lot faster, but it certainly feels like they're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. The city was clearly not designed with a skateboard in mind, and making it a pain to use and navigate, like a sticky Coke freestyle machine. The biggest accolade I can give the game though, is that it showed us something we don't often see in games. Bullying is a serious subject, and previous games that have tackled it normally do it very lightly or gloss over it. Even previous Yakuza games have been guilty of this, where they just show someone being sad because they're being bullied, and the issue is easily resolved after doing one little thing. There is one scene in Lost Judgment that will stick with me and I'll never forget it. It's horrible to watch, and it's the most uncomfortable I felt with a game in a very long time. I'm glad they included it though. After smashing people's faces in with bikes and traffic cones for hours on end, it really puts everything into perspective. RGG Studio is normally criticised for their games all feeling the same, and while that criticism is valid at times, the story in Lost Judgment is possibly the most unique the series has ever offered. With the best Brawler gameplay the series has ever offered, and a unique story with fun side quests, it's hard not to recommend Lost Judgment.
That goes without saying.
Well, I guess we should get going.
I guess so.
Thanks for having us on such short notice. Oh, and give the two lovebirds our regards.